Hi everyone, we are very happy to join you. We are very excited to see that you are meeting in person on site in Kiev. We will be looking forward to visit you live soon, hopefully. But right now we are joining you remotely. Of course, we will be also available for any questions that you have. And today we will discuss about the organizational regret that you will feel when your employee leaves. It will happen sooner or later. And we'll discuss how we can handle that and what are the important factors that you have to take into consideration. We'll start with a short story that will be very familiar for you because this is the story that we are having quite frequently as managers in IT. Some employee leaves. This person, he or she, is very valued employee. They are with our company for many years. But at some point, they decide that they would like to leave because they want to pursue some new opportunities or better career, better money, or whatever. There are endless causes for people leaving. And it turns out that it causes you a trouble because this person was senior engineer or somebody who has a vast business knowledge, and this person leaving causes a trouble for you. In this presentation, we will kind of, let's say, tell you that it's important that every person leaving your team causes you such trouble, that projects will be failing and people won't know what to do, and it will be some kind of organization where will regret this person leaving. Sounds ridiculous? Kind of, but we will explain this further in the presentation.
Yep, who we are. I am Paweł Rekowski.
And I'm Krzysztof Rakowski.
And we are together working in IMAC. IMAC is one of the biggest e-commerce company in this part of the world. And what is important, we have a lot of experience in IT. Together we have more than 30 years of experience, and on the management side, we spend a lot of time. We have a lot of real life example on the big scale. Together, we also create the Nerd Management podcast, where we have more than 35 hours of value lesson for the new and prospective leaders, which you can find on the nerd.management website.
It's in Polish, but with English subtitles. And in this podcast, we are sharing our experience, our knowledge, and we encourage you to visit our website on nerd.management.
And what's important, we'll tell you mostly about our experience with many people, and it's not based by books, it's based by the reality.
In today's presentation, we will familiarize you with the notion of regretted attrition. It refers to employees that the organization truly regrets upon losing. It's not the emotional regret that it was like a nice person and you had a great chats over a coffee or something like this. This is more like organizational regret related to business, to projects, to how you are working, to your effectiveness. And I'm pretty sure that you are quite familiar with that kind of regret. So it means that somebody leaves. You may think that this person is indispensable, that it will cause you a lot of trouble. That kind of people are, for example, somebody who has some very important knowledge about the project, application that you are working on, or the relationships with your customers. And we call it low buzz factor. Buzz factor is kind of a metric that shows, this is kind of brutal, but it shows how many people from your team, if they were hit by a bus, will cause you a serious trouble in your work. And of course, if buzz factor is low, for example, 1 or 2, it means that if you are 1 or 2 people from your team are out, you are in trouble. Some other situations when you will regret this person leaving, for example, it's this employee that has some very specific knowledge. For example, some database specialist with some not very popular database engine, or some programming languages that are not that popular. For example, in banking industry, this is kind of common. So the person that will be just hard to replace. Or somebody who is over and over getting a very high evaluation, that this person is your key person or high potential person. So this is something that you pay them a lot, you are giving them bonuses, you are giving them trainings, and they are really have a high potential or are key to your organization, and they are just leaving. So obviously, opposite to this situation is when if somebody leaves, they don't cause that kind of regret. So that person left, and sometimes you think, all right, it was even better for my team because this person was causing some conflicts, some troubles. They were taking more and more of your time, and they weren't delivering some value. So obviously, they are not regretted, let's say. This also includes people who were, for example, fired, or you didn't extend their contracts after the probation period. And it's important to understand that this regret not only includes the project costs or organizational costs, but also it puts a strain on the team morale. If some person that is well liked, has lots of knowledge, is leaving, this is kind of, let's say, a problem for the team morale or their happiness. And also there are costs of replacement. Obviously, you need to replace this person. You need to start the replacement process. This includes recruitment costs. Either you are doing this in-house or you are hiring some outside organization. And it takes time. Then with onboarding, frequently onboarding takes at least 3 months, sometimes 6 months, sometimes 9 months. So the employee is productive after a long time. So it's important to know that there are costs related to that, and it's possible to calculate them.
Maybe you're curious how to measure this, if you will regret or not. And the important thing here is you need to interview your employees when they leave. When they leave, you should ask why they leave. What was the reason? What was their expectation? Also, it's good to check if their expectation are correct with this. What you can provide, or maybe what exactly happened in their career. Then now they're leaving the company. And what is important, it's not only talk with them, but also make the report and collect the data. And as you can see here, we have the example of the Excel, what we call the data, what we collect in our IT hub, where you see it's important to know how many people you regret, how not. If when you talk with them, it also must be the talk without emotion, because many times, especially with the people who we will not regret very much, or people who generate maybe some problems, you can have some emotional bias. You can think like, oh, I don't like this person, and this person generates some conflict. But at the same time, this person can be valuable for the company, for the project, for the team. And this is very important. Like, this data must be outside emotion. You should look on this purely without any bias, and think, okay, so if the leaves generate the problem for the company or not only from the thinking or feeling, but for the facts.
So it's important to work on data, as Paweł said. We are collecting data that is very detailed, either through exit interviews or discussion with the team leader or with HR or with product owners. We are trying to find those objective sources of information. And we want to have the most detailed data about why people are leaving. And those are information like finances. Yes, this person found a better paying job, or some work organization. Sometimes before the pandemics, it sounds funny right now, but we had some people leaving because they weren't able to work remotely before we adjusted our policy. Or they just moved to other city. It's important to remember that those leaving causes are not sometimes negative. Yeah, somebody just moved to a different city, or they had to, I don't know, some care for elder parent, they didn't have time to work full time, or some other situation happened. So there are not always negative things. There are some, like, life happens. Sometimes some people were let go, fired, or we didn't extend their contracts, or some other thing happened. So it's important to have all this data. And what then you are doing with this data, you have to, of course, work on that. The goal is to improve everything that you can improve, to find some solutions to this data. For every employee that is leaving, we need to really think hard if we regret this person leaving or not. Regret in organizational meaning. So I will say again, it doesn't mean that it was a nice person and we like talking to them, but if this person leaving caused us a trouble, it's important to group this data and analyze this over some time and gather this data. For example, we are collecting this data for a period of more than 6 years, and so we have kind of, let's say, lots of data to process and to discuss. And you need to analyze this. You need to see what's the majority of causes that people are leaving. You can put also some second grade cause, like somebody left because they didn't like the finances, but also they were complaining about the technical debt in your application. So it's important to analyze those causes, see what are the majority of causes, what's the root cause here. And then your job is to find ways of improving those, to changing, or to how to change how you are working, how you are organized. So this will give you a knowledge about what you can improve, so people won't be leaving you.
Another thing is a process of recruitation, because you should very closely look on this, how your process looks like. If you, for example, tell people which you want to hire about some culture or benefits or something which in reality doesn't exist. You want to buy anything, like use all the forces to gather the new people, but they will join the company and then find out basically you tell not the full truth, or you don't agree over the same, or you don't check if the values of your company and the values of the person are correct and are the same, and you go with the same direction, if you are aligned or not, because this also can generate those problems. If the recruitation process is not good and not confirmed that the candidate and the company will work together very well, shouldn't hire this kind of people, because as Chris mentioned, like hiring the people and replacing them costs a lot, and this is long process and very cost process. So you should check if your recruitment process is fit for the people which you want to have in your company, or you should improve something.
And also what we are doing, and we see that it's very important to have a feedback loop regarding the recruitment process. So for example, when we had unsuccessful hire, unsuccessful, it means that somebody left earlier than 1.5 years after being hired, then we are really closely looking at what we discussed on the recruitment meetings, on the interviews, what we told this person. If it turns out that some things were not like this, we are looking closely at those notes. We are looking closely at the exit interview, so we know what we can adjust, what went wrong at the process of recruitment with this specific person. So we focused on the employees that already left, but obviously this is the more important are the employees that you have at the moment, and you need to put lots of effort to take care of them. And it's kind of, let's say, tricky question, and you might feel not comfortable with that, but you need to look at your people and think, would I regret this person leaving or not? And of course, you will end up with two categories: people that you would regret and people that you wouldn't regret. And we will focus first on people that you wouldn't regret. Those are the people that if you imagine they're leaving, you are like, okay, they can leave, I don't care, I will replace them. You need really to focus on them, and you need to turn them into the people that you would regret leaving. And this is the answer to the, let's say, ridiculous thing that I said at the beginning of the presentation. You need to work with them, and there are some tools that you can use to work with them, so you turn them into the people that you will regret them leaving. And first of all is the improvement plan. You need to work with them to improve how they are working. it's better to invest in that kind of plan rather than letting them go and hiring new people. Of course, this is very broad subject, so I will just mention that it's important to work with them, to give them the chance, because this is like a fair thing to do, to give them the chance, to tell them, all right, you need to improve this, improve that, have some dialogue, understand why they are having some problems. Maybe this is something that you can help them with. And you need to work with them through the improvement. This should be a last resort if the improvement plan is not working. If you set some deadline like 3 months or 6 months, usually we are having those plans between 3 and 6 months. And if it's not working, it rarely doesn't work, but sometimes it happens. Then of course you need to let this person go, because, well, keeping person that is not performing and that's poisoning the team and the project that you are doing, it's not very good situation. But of course this is the last resort. And also it's important to see and think why people that you would not regret losing, why they are working in your company, why you didn't spot it earlier, why you didn't spot it, I don't know, a year ago or 2 years ago. Maybe it would be good to adjust the evaluation process. In many companies we have evaluation processes, but sometimes there are like something that we are doing because corporate wants us to do. Look at them and use them as a tool that will work for you, will work for your team, to spot those people that would need to be adjusted. And your ultimate goal is to turn people that you would not regret to people that you would regret. And Paweł will tell you right now what to do with those people so you are not losing them.
Yeah, the most important thing is to not forget about those people, because in many times, especially for seniors and good experts who did their job very well, we can, especially as leaders, we can forget. Okay, they do great job, and it's okay. You should also take care of them. You should also work with them to be sure like they still have some challenges. They can develop themselves, improve their skills. One of the tools what we strongly recommend, call it as a learning plan. You can use it in Excel form or mind map or any type of form. The key and important things here is to have the projects and have the career ladder for each people, especially for seniors and people who are strongly regret. You're the best people to have the path for the long-term career for them, what they can do, what they can achieve, what they can learn. And you should also mix this with the topics, what they want, because it's really important what they want to do, what they want to learn, what you need, and what your project needs. And when those items fits, you can create the environment for those people when they will be very happy. And if you have happy employers, which you will strongly regret, it's like win-win situation. They will not leave until something goes wrong. And if you have a good path for them, it's the situation when they want to stay, want to work, they will work with you, and everything will be good.
So to summarize, let's say mentioned at the beginning, you need to regret all your people leaving. It doesn't mean lowering the buzz factor or putting something that will make your work unreliable, or that there will be some bottlenecks. But what I meant by that is that you need to build a strong team, so you would regret as many employees as possible leaving, because it means you have the best people. You have the people that are doing great job, and you don't have in your team people that you don't care if they are staying in your team or not. But you have to care about them. You have to let them grow. You have to care about their growth, about their getting, improving their skills. And we are doing this for many years, and we are really successful in our teams. We see that when we invest in people, not only money, but time and growth, it really pays off, and we have lots of experience in that. So we also encourage you to visit our website nerd.management when we discuss this, what you can do to make your people happy and make them stay in your team.
To leave you and finish this presentation on the bright side, when the people who you will strongly regret and the key people from your organization will leave, because maybe this will happen after few years or many years. We have this example in our company when the key person leave from the company after 11 years. We think on the beginning it will be something nearly end of the world, because this person knows everything, helps a lot of teams, and did a very good job. But in the end, we manage this, and you also will manage this, because when the key person left, the people and the teams needs to work better, start rethink how they did take more responsibilities. So in the end, even when the key person will leave from your company, you can manage this and go forward.
Don't worry, it will be fine. Once again, it was great to see you, and we are very excited to be able to speak to you. We are Nerd Management. Please visit our website. Our videos have English subtitles, so we are accessible also to people who don't speak Polish. And, well, hopefully, see you soon.
Yep, and if you have any questions for us, we're very happy to answer. And it was a pleasure to meet with you, even online.
Thank you guys for sharing. And now Paweł and Krzysztof joining us online for answering your questions. So please ask what is interesting for you, or maybe some thoughts from this presentation.
Hi guys, thank you for a beautiful presentation. I like the twist from like people you will regret that will leave to the people who you won't regret, and I definitely agree that you should focus on those people more. And my question here is, in my experience, this yearly evaluation or performance appraisal, whatever you call it, it's great to have those, and you kind of feel the plan, you agree with it with a person that there are some goals he needs to achieve during the year, but usually after a year pass, you just recall those during the next performance appraisal. So my question here is, what are the particular tools, or how do you manage these goals being worked on during the year, not only checking those if they are done or not once a year?
Okay, so to do that, I can look about the learning plan. It's all about checking this. I check this with my team like monthly. Every month we check on the beginning of the month. We check, okay, if it's first of all, if this is actual, because I had situation when we cut those plan because the time for the person basically changed. They build a house, for example. They have a family problem with the family, and the goals what we set up, the plan what we set from the beginning, basically was updated. So we cut it. We even not look on this, and next time after a few months, when the situation back to normal. Basically we start from scratch with the learning plan, and again start thinking, okay, so what now is interesting for you, what now we need for the project, what now it's okay to fit, and set up the goals based on that.
Okay, I see. And what do you think is perfect team sizing so you will be capable of doing all those monthly meetings with all your peers, basically?
It's like, the below 10 for sure. I have six, seven people, 6 people in the team, and we try to keep the team based on the Scrum Guide rule. Like if you have bigger team, you should split it. And we also have experience with the situation when the team was bigger, and Chris will tell more here. And we split like 2 teams for 3 teams.
Okay, see, and probably the last one from me is, do you have some particular time allocated for those people to work on their goals, or should they do it on their personal time?
This is very important. I said this must be related to the current project. This must be really it's because if you will set them goals, like for example, they would like to do something or learn some technology. They would like to play with Docker, play with Kubernetes, for example, and you don't have this in your project. And if someone needs to do this on their time, probably there will be no time for that. So this must be like clearly combined with the project, and then it's the perfect situation, because basically the things what they do, what they like and what they want to do, it's basically they're making the key projects. For example, if you have the OKR, if you use the OKR, for example, and you have the projects of the OKR, and it's combined with the things from those learning plan, it's the best situation.
I see. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Any more questions? Well, then, once again, thank you guys for sharing all that insights about regret or not to regret, and how to deal with that. And the most important point is that it's kind of process of working with your people from day 1 to day X when they leave, and even after that, as people could come back to you. So, thank you guys.
Thank you very much.